G'day, Habitat Gardeners. I'm Grant. I'm a horticulturist. I'm a habitat gardener. Well, as much of a habitat gardener as you can be in a unit. Um, I was a habitat gardener once upon a time. I'm also a bird nerd, as it says down there. Oh, hang on, get it right. There we are. Always forget that I'm reversed on those things. How are you? Happy Saturday. Special hello to the early bird on Twitch. Someone jumped in very early on Twitch. That was very nice to see. What I'm going to talk about today, and unless there's a lot of questions, it's going to be pretty short because the message is simple. If you're in Australia, unless you're in a really arid zone, you can find a correa or two that will be amazing for bringing honey eaters, particularly, into your garden, but insects love them too. And that's the correa. Now, it's got a very, very, very apt common name for the genus as a whole, which is the native fuchsia. Even though I don't think they're related very closely to them at all, but correas are related in an Australian sense quite closely to the phibaliums and the beronias. They're a Rutaceae family plant. That means they have quite aromatic foliage and... Oh, what's going on with that? Sorry, my lighting is adjusting itself automatically. It's a bit off-putting. Yeah, I just want to say that they are fantastic plants for just about any garden, but particularly a garden that is quite small. They are generally small to medium shrubs, although some of them can get quite large. You can find forms of Correa reflexa that are quite large, really great for filling space. I don't really want to recommend too many of the species or individual species because different forms go in and out of fashion. You'll find a lot of correas on the market available with all sorts of cultivar names. What I would encourage you to do if you are looking for correas is select different species that flower over a long period of time. And you will find a correa that will flower all year, or you will be able to find a correa that will give you flowers at every time of the year. Some of them, actually, one that is particularly floriferous for most of the year round, is not one that the birds tend to feed on, but insects love it, and that's Correa alba. Also, let me also say, if you're on Instagram, it's a really good idea. Actually, I should find this banner. Have I got an Instagram banner up here somewhere? To pop over to the... doesn't look like I have. Gee, I really need to do that, don't I? It's always better if you are trying to watch on Instagram that you come over to YouTube or to Facebook or to Twitch, because I will be able to... Hang on. There we are. Let me put that up. It's too big. Yes. So where was I before I got so woefully distracted? You will find correas that are acceptable as ground covers, terrific ground covers. You will also, if you live in a small apartment, if you've only got a balcony or a small garden space, if you are limited to using containers or hanging baskets, correas are the bomb. Yes. get into Correas. I also want to say, hello to all you Twitter/X's as well. Hello. Similar thing too, Twitter and X and Instagram. To participate with comments, it's unfortunately difficult to do on those platforms. So thebirdemergency.com/YouTube is the place that you should be if you would like to. Let me edit this. I'll make that into a ticker. Here we go. There we go. Let me make that there. Why are Correas so great? Why do I love Correas? One, they are very resilient plants in my experience, and they don't suffer from some of the limitations that many of the really popular plants have in the garden setting for someone who isn't experienced with Australian native plants. And that is that they don't have the same, tendencies to be over fertilized, or they're not sensitive to too much phosphorus, or they also do not often indicate that yellowing foliage where they look chlorotic because of an iron deficiency, because they're not uptaking sufficient iron. These are common problems in certain genera of Australian plants. Correas are really, really adaptable, but they will fall over if they do not get sufficient water. On the other hand, they can be susceptible to root rot if they are watered too much. So Correas are kind of like a Goldilocks kind of plant, not too little, not too much. But they're really, really forgiving in most cases. If they're well mulched, and unless it's a really arid situation, they're generally going to perform well. Pruning, regular pruning, or a once or twice a year fairly hard pruning, they'll respond really, really well to that. But regular tip pruning for the long flowering varieties will really extend that flowering period. And several of the species will flower all year, some for 8 or 9 months, most for about 6 months is their flowering period. Different species have a different main flowering period, but one of the things that makes them highly desirable in an Australian context is flowering in winter, and many of the species are autumn, winter, many are winter, spring. So at a time when it's, for a lot of the plants, it's quite a hungry time, or a lot of the birds, the nectar feeding birds, find it to be quite a hungry time. Correas are terrific for particularly honey eaters, as they do have a tubular flower, and except for the Correa alba, butterflies and native bees and things really love Correa alba because it has the star-shaped flower. The tube doesn't form; it has an open. The petals are open, and where was it? Yeah, the tube flowers bring in the birds. Eastern spinebills love Correas. All of the smaller honey eaters love Correas. The red wattlebirds around here. There's my neighbour has 2 Correas underneath and a butyl on a Chinese trumpet. The wattlebirds guard those furiously. I don't see the noisy miners around here on the Correas. So maybe again, if you have a noisy miner problem, the more tubular flowers you have, maybe you'll get less of them. But I'm not really hopeful on that. I think they have plenty of strategies to cope. What else do I want to tell you? If you are wanting to propagate Correas, they are so easy to grow from cuttings. Several of the Correas that are adapted to, or that are native to perhaps South Australia, will perform really well in very, very hungry soils as well. That's just in my experience from trying them out. Let me just see if I can tell you which one I'm thinking of. I think it's Is it Marion's Marvel? No. Cannot remember. I should have made a special note. I didn't think I'd even mention that. So I've really got a lot more to say, except that they are fantastic plants. Oh, and the other thing that you can get in Correas, if you are searching around for them, you'll get different foliage textures and different foliage colours to go with flowers that sort of go from yellow to pink, orange, red, cream, red and green, and basically green. And those combinations, red and green, red and pink, green and whitish, they're a terrific plant. In east and southeast Australia, you will be able to find an indigenous Correa. Would be my thoughts. I'm not sure how far up they extend into Queensland, but yeah. Oh, Facebook love. Thank you, Naomi. Good morning. Yeah, good morning on Facebook, Naomi. There we are. Terrific. So, I started right on time today, so I'm kind of... we're into Q&A now. So if you have any kind of questions or comments about plants, gardening, now's a really good time to get into that. What do I want to tell you? I've been to a number of retail outlets selling plants in the last 2 weeks. Been very disappointed in what I have seen. And what I have noticed, and that I always forget that not everyone who's into horticulture and running nurseries and stuff is a plant lover. Many of them are just marketers and business people. And I was disappointed to see so many new types of cultivars, grevilleas, banksias, mostly grevilleas though, some eucalypts that didn't seem to offer anything new or anything better than the varieties that I've been used to seeing for the last sort of 5-10 years. So I think in the rush to have some exclusive label varieties, some really good plants have sort of seemed to have disappeared from the market. So I thought I might make a list of my Southeast Australia top 100s. I got a bit inspired by people doing lists, so I might put that together. Yeah, so questions, comments, requests for topics. Oh, I've got an irrigation expert coming on. We're just sorting out which Saturday morning will be best, and I've reached out to some designers who are wildlife garden designers to see if they can share some of their secrets with us. That's basically all I've got. Naomi, have you got any questions, any comments? What's going on in your garden? I'll share an observation for what's going on around here. I know I've mentioned on the bird emergency many times before, but around here, many of the trees on the main road, which is a road called Sunshine Avenue, and it runs about a block and a half. Can you hear Loz out there, by the way? Loz is out there talking to his friends in the mandarin tree. Many of the trees that are used as street trees on the major roads are eucalyptus or corimbia, and we have lots of spotted gums, lemon-scented gums, but at the moment in flower all over the place are the ironbarks, the Eucalyptus sideroxylon, and also the Eucalyptus leucoxylon are in flower. And the lorikeets and the wattlebirds are having battles over those. So that's I always love it when the ironbarks are in flower because they have a black trunk. They have that. I mean, if you're familiar with the Australian bush and some of the folklore, you know, the man from Ironbark and whatnot. Mature ironbarks have black, thick bark on the trunk, and they're generally straight. And the ironbarks around here have the grey green foliage, and they're a mix of white, yellow, light pink, and really dark pink flowers. So a really great avenue tree. And ironbarks give you an opportunity because of that really dark trunk when they're mature, to plant them in a way that can accentuate the trunks of other trees. The obvious one is the lemon-scented gum or any of the eucalypts or corimbias that oh, good. Naomi's got a comment we'll get to in a minute. So let me just finish this thought. I've seen rural avenues, you know, the drive to the farm gate from the homestead, where they've alternated planting between a lemon-scented gum or mental block. So we go a black trunk, a white trunk, a black trunk, a white trunk, a black trunk, a white trunk. I've seen other people do maybe one side of the of a path or a vehicle track with the black trunks, and on the other side maybe a white trunk, or in some cases, you know, a reddy coloured trunk like some of the Angophora costata for bicostata, beg your pardon, or maybe the salmon gum, which has that pinky orange bark. So fantastic stuff. Oh wow! All coming in now. Hello, Twittery X's. Now let me draw your attention, if you're on Twitter or X or on LinkedIn or Instagram. If you look down the bottom, there's a scroller. If you want to join in on the comments, like Naomi can do, as I've just highlighted there, you want to get onto YouTube or Facebook, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube. to leave a comment, ask a question, something like that. So Naomi says, I'm back and able to chat and listen to the show. Well, you can always listen to the show later because it sits up there on YouTube. You can always go and listen to it. I've missed the show. I've been weeding the mallee property of three-toed jack. Oh, my goodness. Yes, a horrid weed. Yeah, I hope you started a big compost heap or something, Naomi, for it. I'm so excited, though. 24 bird species seen on the property, 51 in the town itself. It was not hard, but it was not hard birding, also weeding, plus, wow, saw the aurora. Okay, Naomi, I would like to know the 24 bird species that you saw on the property. Let's check out how cool that was. 51 in town, so... give us more details. Which town, and I'll pull it up on eBird. That would be good. Let's do that. I better sign in. Come on, better sign in and get access to the. There we are. Okay, I'm just waiting for you, Naomi, to tell me the town, the nearest town, so that I can search for a hotspot. Come on. Here we go. Boy, I have not done a eBird for a while. That's terrible. Folks, anyone else want to jump in with any thoughts or comments? Has anyone been to a garden, a botanic garden? Are you excited by the Chelsea flower show? I went to a botanic garden during the week. Was been inspired to go and visit another one if the weather holds out for tomorrow. I am going to go and visit an old favourite of mine called Maranoa Gardens in North Balwyn. So Naomi, I'm just waiting for you to tell me which town I need to look up on eBird. We can see if your place is now a hotspot. I won't share it if it is, by the way. I'm just looking at my Instagram for some reason. Oh, there we are. It seems to be back. Okay. There we go. All right, let's have a look at... this is going to be Naomi's 24, I'm guessing. Oh, white-browed tree creeper was a lifer for you. Olive whistler, one of the beauties, fantastic. Now, Naomi, I'm just going to check on my... Oh, I just saw, Naomi, there's some really good silo art in that town. Would that be right? Right, I'm just having a look so we don't have to... How far from Oyen, Naomi? Let me just have a look. I reckon that might be a good place to look for in. Uh, Sorry, folks, I'm just navigating through the. Uh, 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 oh, that's not working. Oh, it's so long since I've. Yeah, this will be better. Explore a region. Um, Sorry, Naomi. I'm. Here we are. Oh, there's a few hotspots in. Oh, there we are. Okay. I'm going to go to. All right. Sorry, folks. Didn't realise you were as close as you are to one of the somewhere I like to go very often. Okay, so there are. Um, just having a look around your place, and I'm not sharing it, Naomi. I am just looking that there are many places that. Gee, just not far away, Naomi, in Wyperfeld. Um, uh, one camp in Wyperfeld, 177 species, 169 in another one. Um, we go out to where was I looking just a minute ago? Out to Hopetoun, 118 species. That's all. That's all very good. Um, okay, let's. So blackbird and house sparrow, yeah, they're just everywhere now. Naomi's letting me know. Let's have a look at some of the others. Fairy wrens, superb and purple backed and splendid. Well, that's a good get. Three of them. Musk lorikeets, tawny frogmouth. Uh, 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 Naomi asked me about Patchawalla. I was just trying not to share your location, uh, pretty much, Naomi. So just looking at the region, um, corvids. I would think you'd have the Australian raven and the little raven. Let's have a look at that. Um, if I go to uh, uh, oh, Just having a look. You've obviously done this yourself. Oh, brown songlark up there. So you've. Sorry, Naomi. I am just checking back there. I'll get out of there. I'm going to go back to. Remember, folks, you can ask a gardening question while Naomi and I geek out on birds. Just going to have a look at the. Have a look at the corvids. There's been some very good locations nearby. Lake Lascelles, that looks like a good place to get to. Australian Raven Naomi that would be the one I would expect you to be finding. Just going to the all ever found, I would say someone may have found a different raven as well. Let's have a look. Only grey butcherbird. I'm not seeing any pied butcherbirds. I would have expected pied butcherbirds up there as well. Oh, there we are, pied butcherbird. Grey currawongs. Australian raven. Yep. I think that would be pretty safe. And Naomi says she saw the pied. Yeah, I just found the pied on one of the lists there. So, very, 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 very good. Exciting. The blue bonnets. It's always nice when you see the blue bonnets. Grey butcherbird on the property. Very good. Very good. Well, that's going to be exciting for you, Naomi. I hope you've caught up with Fiona from Mallee Conservation as well. Yeah, well, that's very good. So we talked. Tell us about the plants that you have on. Great, Naomi has spoken to Fiona. That's great. What plants have you got on your plot up there in the Mallee? Anyone wants to share their experiences? I'd love it if Betty's around. She can keep telling us more about her property at Goulburn. Love to know what's happening. Great. Naomi's trying to catch up in October. Excellent. When's your next trip, Naomi? It's a fair hike. Is that your next trip, October? Obviously, you need to be getting some very arid, adaptable plants. That would be good. Forgive me while I have my morning snack. I was up very early this morning and I'm hungry. Dates are very chewy, aren't they? Okay, up for questions. You X's, you Twitterers, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube, or I'll just check my saltbush. Fantastic. Okay. Mallees are very, very well, they're not usually that difficult to to identify. Bark, fruit capsules, especially if you can get them before they burst into flower, or seed capsules before they've fully opened or fully dried out. There, good. Too cold to camp in the middle of winter. Oh, I don't know about that. All right. Now I'm just checking on my Twitter/X. For the meantime, if you mention me on Twitter, just seeing some more horrific stuff in New Zealand. Just checking. No, not getting any Twitter mentions. So there we are. Oh. I'm just seeing if I can find out who's with us on... no, I can't. Sorry, I was just seeing if the functionality on Twitter would let me see who was watching and say hello, but no, it doesn't let me, so I was just going to try and do that. I'll just pop over and see if anyone's made a comment in Instagram. No, they haven't. What's this? 6 degrees was as low as you wish to experience. It was 6 degrees here last night. I don't know. What's going on? We haven't even got properly cold here yet. Okay. Well, gardening questions, anybody? You can throw bird questions at me too if you like. You can just tell me what you've been doing. Anything. Oh, true. I am in a unit, not a swag, but yeah. I've been in a swag when it's been that cold. Just need an extra bit of a blanket. That's all. All right, folks. Don't want to talk about who's tougher when it comes to sleeping out. Must say, I have had some very, very cold nights camping in arid Australia. Yeah. This is let's oh, you're telling me about one of your weeds. Geez, it's even got its own Wikipedia page. So you'll be Atroplex. I'll be happy to talk about Atroplex. Halogeton, isn't that's introduced for fodder, wasn't it? And I'm not seeing anything about it being in Australia, but I'm pretty sure uh, that's a mega pest. Uh, Atriplex semibacata, Atriplex cinerea. Their Atriplex are a great plant. Um, have you got the Tagasasti? Have people tried introduce that in the region, Naomi? That's another one that they what do they call it? Tree. Can't even remember. Tagasasti can turn into a weed in semi-arid areas too. Okay, folks. Well, I want to get out while it's sunny in the sunshine today. So, any other plant questions, comments? We got right off Correas. I want you to go out and get yourself a Correa. So many of them they're just great. And many of them are really good to use in hanging baskets below other plants. They're always a great understory plant in pretty much any situation. Don't overwater them. That would be my main concern. Do not overwater them, but they love being watered, and they're not. They don't have a sensitivity to most of the general fertilizers, so you can be less less worried about using materials around them that Banksias and Grevilleas and Hakeas won't like. So, overcast and cool up there, isn't? Don't I always hear about how much better the weather is in Sydney than Melbourne? Anything else I want to tell you? Naomi, I think I hope when you say you'll look them up, you're looking up Correas. Don't look up Tagasasti. Too much weed potential. So don't look at that. Let me just see. I'm going to consult my my list that I haven't looked up for a long time. No. Sorry, I am just looking that up. No, not. I've seen many of the Correas in what I would call fairly arid and dry situations, like rocky escarpments and really windswept sort of locations. But I haven't ever noticed them in the Mallee, so I'm just going to. Just going to see if the I'm just checking some of the the distributions for some of the common ones. Well, I can tell you, Naomi, that Correa Reflexa is, where are these locations? Not terribly far from you, so that's good. And I'm just going to look up. Okay, that one's not going to be any good. Correa Reflexa, Correa Glabra, I think would be worth trying. I'll just see what we've got in South Australia. So I looked up the distributions. For Victoria and New South Wales, and also, Correa Glabra. Okay, they would be my suggestions to try first, Naomi. Correa Glabra, Correa Reflexa. Be looking in what's in the nurseries in Mildura, and maybe check out what they're selling in Horsham. I know you're not going to go there, but you could ring them, ring nurseries in Horsham, or is there a retail nursery in Oyen? I'm not sure there would be, or in Mildura. Narracourt as well. Perhaps ring Narracourt. Mariana. That's more like it, Naomi. Yes, I'm much happier that you are. Which one did you say you had? Yeah. I'd just call around, Naomi, but Correa Glabra, Correa Reflexa would be the two that I would try, and perhaps Correa decumbens as a ground cover, a really low growing plant. I think that they might be acceptable. Okay, cool bananas, everyone. Wow, on all the platforms. Very nice to see you all here. And remember, LinkedIn, Twitter/X, and Instagram. You're able to join in and leave comments and ask questions if you're on thebirdemergency.com/YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, but Twitchers are always lurkers. We got a Twitcher on here still? Yeah. Hello, Twitch. Nice to see you. Okay, that's it for the weekend. Get out there, do something. Can you hear Loz? Can you hear him whistling out there? He hadn't been out for a couple of days. Mostly just in. He loves his new cage and he loves hanging around inside, but he hasn't been out talking to his friends. So I've put him out in the little cage, and he's out there whistling away quite happy. Mariana, Naomi, depending on what you want to do, perhaps send me an email telling me what you want to do. I can probably recommend some ground covers for you that will handle the arid arid habitat that you might, after time, you might want to remove or something. But I can think of a couple of grevilleas that will probably do the job if you're wanting something to shade out or crowd out the weeds that are there. Let me know. You know where to get hold of me. So if you want to look for something like that for you, go ahead. Okay, folks, enjoy the weekend. Good luck beating the weeds, Naomi. You'll have a new appreciation for pasture weeds, or for the plants that were thought to have been really important for pasture that have become weeds. So, yeah, good luck with that. Enjoy the weekend, folks. Make sure you appreciate the birds and the plants around you. I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd, also a plant nerd. Be sure to subscribe, thebirdemergency.com/YouTube. We've got a bit more coming up for the Bird Emergency next week, but I'll promote that on the socials. See ya.